Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, modelers of all ages, welcome back to the bench. My name is Ben, and thank you so much for joining us here on channel update number 3 for Ben Builds. I just wanted to do a quick video, get you guys a look at a couple of new kit updates that I did from my stash, and then of course talk a little bit about what's going on and what's coming up, and a little announcement. So what has happened? Well, we've finished 2 group builds in the last month, which is amazing. We did the Bomber Command Buddy build where I built this Airfix Armstrong Whitworth Whitley. Thank you, Martin, for inviting me to that one. And we also jumped in on the Great War group build, and I built the Newport 17. Both kits turned out beautifully. I have to say that the Newport, I was not expecting to be able to pull that off. So thank you again to Ian and to Martin for going ahead and pulling me in on those group builds. I have never had so much fun. This has been a great year for modeling. Now, I honestly had another idea to jump in on one more group build to finish out the year, and that was being hosted by Tim Hedworth. That is the Brit 48 group build. The problem is, though, I don't have a lot of time with that. I didn't want to start it when I was running both the Bomber Command and the Great War because it's just not enough time. So I thought I would wait, and after I'd finish the Great War group build, I'd jump in on the Brit 48. But again, I only have about 4 weeks or so to build the kit I wanted to build, and that's not going to happen. So regretfully, I'm going to have to go ahead and say I'm not going to be able to join the Brit 48. As much as it does pain me to say, I'm not going to be able to join in. So I'm sorry, Tim. I really honestly wanted to, but I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the fantastic work that's going on currently, and then pick something a little less stressful for me to build and not under a time crunch. So speaking of kits, I was able to get down to a local hobby store the other day, and I actually picked up a couple of models I wanted to share with everybody. Now, I've always been a fan of two-engine aircraft. In fact, recently with the completion of the Whitley and also some stuff that's going on, I know Joe over there at Mad Genius Productions just finished his 1/48 scale Beechcraft C-45. It's kind of propelled me to go ahead and do one of my own. So I picked up a couple of aircraft that might work out for the next build. One of them is this one right here. This is a Zvezda 1/48 scale PE-2, Soviet World War II era dive bomber. And I got to tell you, it's twin engine, it's cool, it's sleek, it's fast, and it actually performed very, very well during the Great Patriotic War. So I have always liked the look of it, and I really want to go ahead and build one. So I've picked this up. There's actually an Edward boxing out there that adds resin parts, masks, photo etch, the whole 9 yards, but it also is $70. This was like 35 bucks. So I decided to go half price, pick this up, and just roll with it. To be honest, they've got tons of detail, very, very good looking model. You can even actually expose the engine. So that's cool. I think this is going to be a wonderful build, and I don't need the photo etch. I don't need the resin. I don't need the masks. I can handle it without that, just the base kit. So I'm very excited to go ahead and jump in on this one. I'm not necessarily going to start this one next. I'm going to have to think about it, but this is a potential candidate for an upcoming build for sure. So let's put that aside. I also was able to select one other twin-engine aircraft that I've always kind of had my eye on, and that is a 1/48 scale Revell Lockheed PV-1 Ventura. Now this is a Navy maritime patrol bomber, and I've always liked the look of the Ventura. It's a big model though, I have to say, and I just found it at the local hobby store. It wasn't that expensive, and I decided to pick it up. And so here we go. Now, the neat thing that kind of drew me to the Ventura is the awesome kind of octopus tentacle decal that goes on the back there. And I don't necessarily want to use the decal. I might have another idea for that, but we'll come to that when we get to this. And that is kind of one of the draws for this kit, is that there's such a unique look to those markings, honestly. And I haven't really built a naval aircraft here on the channel yet, so this should be a lot of fun. Plus it's twin engine, and I'm kind of in the twin engine mood right now. So that's kind of an exciting update to the stash. But there is one other addition to my bench here that I wanted to go ahead and show you guys. So let me start off with this right here. This is my current airbrush. This is an HPC made by Iwata. I bought this back in 2001 from a good friend of mine for 80 bucks, and I think I got a pretty good deal on it. I have used this through countless models since about 2003 when I actually got my compressor, and it has never really failed me. The problem I have with it is that it's small in the hand, and I have slightly larger hands anyway, and it's kind of small. And really, honestly, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but a few years ago I had an accident, and I accidentally sliced through my pinky finger here on my right hand. And when I did that, I severed the FTP tendon, and I had to have surgery to go ahead and reconnect that. And the scar tissue was just so much that it doesn't really allow me to straighten the finger out, as you can see. The issue with that is that my grip strength has never been quite 100% back. because when I sliced through that finger, I did do significant damage to the nerves and also to the tendon. I've never really been 100% back. So the problem I have with my airbrush is that when I'm airbrushing for long periods of time, my hand tends to cramp up. My hand kind of gets into like a claw and it just does not want to move very much. So I'm kind of hoping that by giving myself a bit more purchase on the airbrush itself, I would have less issue with my hand cramping and I'd have less pain. So with that being said, I went out and I picked up a new airbrush. This is a Grex TG3, and there's a very specific reason why I chose this particular airbrush. This is a trigger dual action airbrush. So it's not the traditional push down, pull back for paint and for air. This is actually you just pull the trigger for both air and paint. I've heard that it is a very different style of airbrushing, but that it's much easier and much more ergonomic for the hand. And that's what I'm really going for. I have a buddy at work who actually uses one of these and he loves it. He just raves about it. I got it on sale on Amazon, so I thought I would roll the dice, and here it is. So I will be doing a bit more of an in-depth unboxing for this airbrush. I'll do that probably next episode I do here, just because I would like to be able to see how it sprays. And I'll get you guys a little bit more information on how it operates, what it's like to use a trigger airbrush, and then I'll compare it with my Iwata. But for today, I just wanted to go ahead and show you guys what I picked up. I will say that the HPC, they don't make that anymore. So if there's any part of the airbrush that breaks, I don't know if the new HPC Plus would actually fit with this. That doesn't mean I'm going to give up on the Iwata. I love the Iwata. It's a great little airbrush. But again, it's a little bit small. For long painting periods, I'm going to have to go with something a bit bigger, and the Grex tends to fit that bill. So the Titanium TG3 by Grex, trigger type, double action airbrush. So let's go ahead and call it quits on the episode for tonight. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on what's going on, show you the new additions to my stash, and show you my new Grex airbrush. We'll get into the more specifics at a later time for the Grex. I'll do a bit more unboxing like I mentioned. But until then, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to take a little bit of time here over the next couple of weeks, kind of back off the kits a bit, just to go ahead and slow things down, get past that holiday, and then we're going to be back on the bench, try to get some more model kits out for you guys. So until next time, thank you so much for watching. We will see you back here next week for a bit more of an in-depth look at the Grex TG3 airbrush. So until then, build what you want, build it the way you want to, but above all, remember, this is fun. So we'll see you back here next week on Ben Builds. Thanks so much, guys. Take care.